So 2023, 2024, when the government decided to do an experiment on me, essentially I was left up here in the forest, in town, but essentially I was in a forested area like this. Do you see any fruit trees? Me neither. And that summer I lived off of huckleberries and wild strawberries and herbs and things that I could find in the forest, because even if I did have money, I could not get anybody to give me a ride to town to buy groceries. And so I had no choice but to rely on the space around me and get to know it in a different way than most people are used to. Other people, they come here and they vacation, they camp, they bring their food with them, and then they leave their trash behind when they go home. They defecate in the forest. Essentially, they come out here and shit on everything, and so it limited my food supply. And so I'm in an experimental area where they're monitoring growth and whatnot, but I'm allowed to come and get a few herbs. It's just a small bag. And so this right here, this purple flower, is called Heal All. I was told that this is kinnikinnick. And so I've been utilizing whatever I can find out here in the forest for my parasite purge. And it actually works better than the things that I purchased. And so what people need to realize is that people that are on government assistance, it is not an easy ride. It's not fun being sick in the first place, but when you're sick and you're denied food, medical care, what do you do? And so I chose the herbal path because this is what I could afford. This was what was here for me. And this is how I saw that nature, if I allowed myself to have needs, nature actually did provide for me. And so what I also noticed is the areas that I frequent, they would grow flowers according to what I need. And so all I have to do is visit a particular area of the forest routinely, and that area will grow what I need on an herbal remedy basis. We're still not growing fruit. But I have a feeling that there's seeds of some sort hidden under the ground. And because humanity's been shopping at the grocery store and whatnot, if I come out here to nature needing food, like I came out hungry, if I come out here needing food, I wonder what nature will provide. There's supposed to be all sorts of mushrooms and, well, basically it's a forest fairy diet. What people in ancient times would have been eating. And because we've not been going out to the forest has not gotten grooming or proper patronage. It's not growing these things. The area that I'm in, it is a series of poor people that relatively know nothing about herbs or organic living, because organic living seems to still be on the store shelf. And so when it comes to farming or survival, they actually don't know that much. And to be honest, I have limited experience as well. Why? Well, I was never allowed to settle down and do that because of the rental structure, because of the societal structure of things. I was never allowed to settle down and try to grow my own foods or attempt to be self-sufficient in some form. It's not because I didn't try relationships. I'm single because relationships were not working for me. And it was not fair to continue doing that to other people. And so I come out here and I get my sensory perception on and touch what I see. I smell what I see. I don't always put it in my mouth because there are things that are poisonous to us. I'm going to take this. This might be a bluebell. But, it's things like this that where I get just one flower into my pot of tea, it makes a difference. Just one little flower is worth more than a bottle of pills. And so this is where they don't want people living. They don't want people growing a sense of self or self-esteem by learning how to live in the forest. I'm reminded all the time of that guy that moved to Alaska and lived out his last days miserably in a bus. And so there's absolute rules to living out in a place like this. And it's nature's rules, not human rules. And so when people are used to honoring human laws and not observing nature's laws, they come out to places like this and do illogical, non-logical things, and then wonder why they got hurt. Or they thrive off of being the victim, one or the other or both. But yeah, so a lot of people come here, they move here from out of state for this beauty, and then they forget to pack their logic, their common sense. They bring the city with them and forget to keep it natural. And so this is where I think rules need to be in place for people with money. They should not be able to come out here and tear up the land at will and build just wherever they want. There should be a sense of rules about it that helps a person coexist with nature instead of take it over. And so this is where I approached AI about a tech meets nature approach to their thinking, because nature is important. And so this is potentially why they're not cooperating on a certain level, is because I'm about preserving nature, not abusing it, not destroying it. And so what you have is people that pretend to be preservationists while they're destroying everything. People just plain pretending. And this is where I view people with money as not as intelligent, because they come out here with their pocket full of cash and forget convenience is not here. And that's what's wrong with the world. In America, at least, is there's been too much convenience. And so people have forgotten how to fend for themselves on a basic level. You have the person that's always asking somebody else to run to the fridge, always asking somebody else to do something for them. And this is where I think things have gotten misconstrued, because I was so busy being the girl Friday, the errand girl when I should have been applying myself to doing bigger things with myself. But there's not space in the world for that because I'm a woman. And so what I found was that I had to shrink myself down in order to fit in today's society. The social construct of things, I would have to shrink myself down in order to fit into a city living. And out here, I can expand mentally, emotionally, and physically, and freely, which is not what other people are experiencing in life. And so I actually have it better than most anybody, but that's because I planned it that way. I didn't plan it to be better. I planned it to be good for me. And this is where I see what's good for me could be good for everybody. People with money could stand to lower themselves to the forest floor. They could stand to get in tune with nature and learn how to coexist on a different level. And so one day I actually plan to make a healing retreat where people can do that on a different level. And I see that the road might be finally rising to meet me. But I had to tear up a lot of pavement to get there. And so this is where, by taking the easy route, what people are teaching their children is the easy way out. And then you wonder why your children have no work ethic. And that's because you didn't teach them work ethic by example. What they saw was you getting things handed to you. You throwing money at a problem. And so this is what's wrong with the monetary system. Some problems you cannot throw money at. Some problems require you to throw herbs at them, which is where we're at today. And this has opened the door for herbalists and healers to be able to join society in some way. It's high time. Because it's herbs that truly heal. We'll find out what these are. This is bear grass, and this is edible. And so I have put it in my anti-parasitic tea. And the irony is that by being out in the forest, by doing what I'm doing, coming out, gathering herbs, making a pot of tea from herbs, like they're green, they're freshly gathered. This bag of herbs is worth so much more than what you're getting in the store. Why? Because it's fresh and it's only been handled one time. It's rain washed. Mother Nature cured. And so this is what people are not going to be getting when they're shopping online, when they're buying from stores. And so people absolutely are missing out. And I'll tell you what, I don't always know what herbs I'm gathering. I don't always know what I happen to throw in my teapot. And so I am taking a risk when I do the herb gathering. But it's like Grandma said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so there's wild strawberries, there's all sorts of herbs. The bear grass, the knick-knack, the huckleberry, even the huckleberry leaves. I'm going to go ahead and take some. Just a small bit. All of this vegetation, it doesn't matter how much you get into the pot, it's healing. And so knowing that some of it, if I cannot identify it, what I go ahead and do is I only use a small amount and try to identify it. These berries here, red means dead. Do not eat it. And so this is why the red pill, blue pill, red means dead. Do not eat it. If people knew more about living in the forest and the common sense it takes to be out here, then they would have the common sense it takes to be out in the world. They would also have the common sense to know when a con job is being pulled on them. And that's absolutely what's happening with pretty much everybody in America. What you've been told to be true is not. This out here, this is what's real. But that's what a lot of people are not able to handle. Something real. And I noticed this in relationships as well. When I got real with people, they couldn't handle it. It caused them to emotionally dysregulate. And so what I found is there's a cluster of people you cannot, you can't even constructively criticize them, because if you tell them they're doing anything wrong, then they decompose, they blow up. And so you just can't seem to be honest with people. Ooh, it's a mushroom. And so, a knife is in here. If you can't be honest, if someone cannot be honest with you, how are they supposed to establish a relationship with you? And this is what I've tried getting across to people is if I can't be honest with you, then that means I cannot freely communicate with you. And if I cannot freely communicate with you, how am I supposed to be in a relationship? And that goes the same with on a national scale. With the government and all of that. If there's no free communication, then how are we growing? How is that working for us? And so it's not. That's why things are not working for us. There's no communication between the front of the train and the back of the train. I'm at the back of the train. They tried to feed me cockroach bars, which made me very sick. And so if you're wondering why your elderly are sick and dying, it's the food they're being fed, the pills they're being fed. It's not getting out. It's lack of connection. And so what I've seen is on an electrical level, the electricity, we're conduits, and so you need to be by a power source to draw energy as a conduit. So if you're not connected to source, you actually don't have a power source. And that's what my time of isolation did for me, was it redirected my energy to be a direct connect to source, so that I'm getting proper energy, not human energy, because humans are toxic. And so really I am the other kind of human when it comes to mutations and whatnot. This event absolutely did mutate my system in different ways, and so I will never be able to live like a normal human. I'll never be able to live in the city again. I'll always have to be near a forest. And so I just don't know how people do it. But I did it once too. That's the thing. I completely forget being that person. I did it once too. I lived in Portland. I did office work. I've done teaching. I was a CEO of a music production company. I did modeling. And it's in all these things, we enjoy, well, we got romanced into it, essentially. That's the way relationships work, too. We got romanced into it. And then we find out it's not what it was cracked up to be. And then that's supposed to be normal. Stop normalizing that crap. Stop teaching your kids that that's normal. And so I normalized healthy to my kids. I had no idea that in so many ways I was unhealthy because I was raised far from the forest. I was born in Iowa. And so none of this was available there. None of it. Found some mullein. And so we don't know these things without exposing ourselves. And so it isn't until one ventures out and leaves home that they learn. This is ancient smoke. It's also herb for tea, but notice it's kind of similar to a tobacco leaf. Yeah. And so I theorize that when they rolled cigarettes back in ancient days, they had some herbs and then they'd roll it up in some mullein and smoke it as medicine or herb or ceremonial. But it is my guess that these guys, like, they make great butt wipe. This is the Charmin of the leaves in nature that has the fuzz on it for butt wipe. But it's got multiple uses. And so I'm looking forward to the day when I'm more advanced at my foraging. So that I don't have to stock up on things the same as other people. It'll be basically annual herb gathering, annual food storage for before winter, but I won't need to stock up on more than that. I'll only need to get what I need to get me through the winter, which is going to be new for me. This is having to prep for hard times is what's created people that hoard things. And so by releasing my energy this way, what that does is it releases energy on the planet. A coconut. It stinks. It's definitely bad. But, somebody dropped a coconut. But yeah, so this is why men are confused around me. I actually don't care how much money you have. What I do care is if you know how to forage and fish. And if you're a good friend. Because out here, like a couple living out here, just have each other. There's a few other people, but house divided cannot stand. And so the biggest thing is you have to learn how to rely on each other and be reliable, because it is life and death out here every day. I'm out here without a gun, without bear spray. I'm not far from the road though. But even, oh, that's really wet. Even that's dangerous. Coming out here without protection from bears. But I trust myself and I trust nature. And I just don't feel that I'll be needing any defense against bears. And if they eat me, then that's the way it goes. So yeah, and this is where the foundation of relationships is all messed up, because everything's been based on a monetary value, and I'm basing things on, Do you know what mushrooms we can eat? Do you know what herbs we can use? Do you know where to go for firewood? Do you know how to run a chainsaw? Do you know how to stack wood? Do you know how to get by in the wintertime? And so those people that are doing the off-grid thing, my hat's off to you. I'm doing basically in-town yet off-grid living. I compromised with the government, and I'm trying to prove to them that there is more than the two sides. There's the center line. And so I absolutely like to play in the gray. Eventually, maybe tonight, it's a full moon. Maybe tonight's a good night to do the spirit box. We should drive somewhere. Yeah. And go have some time with the spirit box. Because this is a vortex, and so there's all sorts of spirit energy here. Not to mention, it's a forest. Spirits love spiriting around the forest. And so there's been all sorts of phenomena, anomalies, all sorts of crazy cool things that happen in our area. And I hope to actually catch it on camera. Other people have, but somehow I miss it every time. And so I've spent the last few years looking for a partner, a cameraman. And that's when I realized what humanity, like the train of thought that everybody has. That's when I realized how everybody actually thinks. And so, yeah, you might be able to get by in the jungle, the concrete jungle, but if you can't get by in my jungle, relationship-wise, I'm not looking for something else to worry about. And so this is where people don't seem to get me.